make sure that went up.
And we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to RWB Sports. Hi, this is Reginald Peoples, your host here. Today, we are talking to a gentleman that we have had on the show once before. You have seen him and you have probably grown with him throughout the years here at RWB Sports. And coming up tomorrow afternoon at the Reading Rumble, at the East Reading Boxing Club, you're going to get to see this young man, and he has made his way to the main event. He is the showstopper. He is who everybody's coming to see, and you may know him as the little brother of David Dynamite Stevens, who we'll talk about in a little bit. But he has come into manhood now. He is a grown man now. He's 18. He graduated 2 years ago, and he is now attending Temple University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I am talking about no other than my guy who we call Mikey Lusane. And we're going to bring him in and we're going to talk to him. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you. Pleasure to always be on the show.
Oh, always, always. And if nobody knows, he's known for his smile. The young man has a smile that'll light up a room. I'm telling you. We have followed this kid at East Reading Boxing. We have followed his career going forward to and from. And now he is headlining the Reading Rumble. 2 years ago, we did a back to school brawl, which you was a co-main event on there. But now this year at the Reading Rumble, you are the main event. First of all, let's go back and say how proud we are of you graduating high school, moving on to college. Tell us what your journey's been like so far being in college.
So going to college, it was a big difference. In a different city, a bigger city. Philly's a big city. It's a boxing city. So for a while, I was boxing down there, over at Pivot, and then I decided, it wasn't the best opportunity for me. So I came home and I'm still going to school, but I'm boxing here and going to school at the same time while working a job. So it's a lot to manage.
Okay, so you are driving back and forth to Philly every day and training.
Yeah, and working.
Oh, okay, all right. So you have gone from the transition of you know being 16, 17, 18, and now you have moved up to manhood. Being the main event on this card that's going to take place tomorrow night, how does that make you feel knowing that where you have come from, being a little kid, following in the footsteps of your big brother, being overshadowed a little bit, to now being the man at the gym?
Yeah, it definitely means a lot. Shout out to Coach Andres and Coach Jake for believing in me and never giving up on me, no matter the outcome of matches. And they believe that I earned the spotlight to be the main event tomorrow. And I think I put enough work in to be it myself.
Okay. All right. Well, we always believed in you and always knew, that you had the skill and the ability to do what you wanted to in the ring. Now you have come into the physical physique of, you know, being a young adult. You have gained a little weight. You have gained more mass and muscle with the new camp that you're in. How do you feel that has changed your mental approach to the sport of boxing?
I think mentally, I got a lot stronger. Besides just physically, but knowing that I'm physically strong has helped me go in there and know, like, all right, this guy's not stronger than me. He's not working harder than me. He's not sparring who I'm sparring. So no matter who's in front of me, I know you're not better than the people I'm sparring. So I don't think you're gonna beat me.
Right, right. And I know that you said that you were training a little bit in Philly when when you was actually living there at Temple. How does the sparring differ? Because I know in each demographic you have different uh, levels of sparring, and I know Philly is known for the rough and tough areas to get mentally and physically prepared for fights. Because I know I visited Bosie's gym there in Philly, and they spar 4 minute rounds with 30 seconds rest.
So when I first went down there, I'm not gonna lie, I was out of shape. The first time I sparred, I did 6 rounds. And like I could tell like the pace was a lot different. It was more tougher. Like everything was just quicker. It was, those little moments where you get a break, it's not really a break. They're on you. You feel me? You're
Right,
not really having someone say break. Nah, you gotta fight out of that clinch.
right, right. And in doing so, that in itself is giving you that ring IQ, is giving you that ringmanship to be able to do different things in there in the ring. Is actually a learning lesson that should pay off as you go forward and as you move, because one of the things they say is protect yourself at all times. But you have those slick fighters that when they clench just waiting for the ref to come in and say break, so they can sneak a punch in.
Yeah.
You got a lot of fighters out there that are good at that. You have a lot of fighters out there that thrive on that. That's one of the things that, I thrived on when I was fighting, because I knew I was right there. And when they said break, most people, they drop their hands. Or most people, they just step back. They're not expecting a punch. But as soon as that referee is out of the way from whether you're right-handed or left-handed, one of them's gonna go. You know what I mean? So as long as you don't hit the referee, you're okay. And I noticed they do a lot of that down in Philadelphia. Now, being back at East Reading, Coach, I know that's where your brother got his start. We'll talk about that in a little bit because we know he's got a fight coming up. What have you brought from your experience in Philly, being the big guy now on East Reading Boxing Club's campus? What have you brought to the team that you feel like that has boosted the other guys that you train with, the other guys part of the gym, that you have boosted their you know ability to train harder, to go harder, to want to be better. They want to keep up with Mikey. They want to do what do you feel that you've brought to the table from your experience in Philly?
I think that hunger, that was what I learned down there was those guys are hungry. I mean, I'm not gonna say where we're from, we're not hungry, but those guys, that's all they have is boxing. It's either death or boxing down there.
Right,
So coming back home, I learned a lot from them. Like you gotta work a lot harder than you think you're working. You might think you're working harder, but someone out there is working harder than you. So I think
right.
that was a big thing that I learned. So when I came back home, I was working a lot more harder than I used to. Now the guys see me and it's like a competition. They see how hard I work and they start working harder. And now we're just feeding off each other, just trying to make each other better.
That's excellent. That's excellent. 15 bouts. Now, I know you've been part, of big competition before. I know you have been, on center stage before. But now, I know as amateurs, the main event is usually the last event of the night. How do you mentally prepare? Because I know you're going to be there, you're going to be watching the other fights, and that's a long time just to be sitting there. So you're going to get tired, you're going to be out in the heat and the element. How do you mentally and physically prepare for something like that, especially 15 bouts? That's quite a long time.
I mean, I've been the main event my last 4 fights now. Thanks to Pivot, they've believed in me and let me be the main event on 2 of their shows. So I'm kind of used to it now, but it's mostly just relax and like I know I want to see my guys fight, but it's my night and their night, so I gotta focus on myself And at the end of the day, when it's all done, then I can go celebrate with those guys.
Right, right, and this is definitely true, and that is and I can tell by your answers, and I'm going to pull up some of the old videos that I have of you, to this video here because your answers are so they're so well rounded now, and they mean so much more coming from you now than a year ago, 2 years ago. You have grown within that span to be a hell of an individual, not just a fighter, but as a person. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people, including myself, want to know the next step. You have been boxing as an amateur for several years. You are now moving into open class um, competition now. How long are you going to stay in the open amateurs before you sit down, you talk to Big Brother, and you decide to go to the pro side?
Right now it's not really up to how many more amateur fights. Because boxing is a sport where anything could happen. I could get hit tomorrow, break an arm or something.
Right.
And I want to graduate school first before I even think about going pro. So that gives me another 3 years, and I want to gain experience in those tournaments. Golden Gloves, nationals, before I even think about going pro because those are key elements you need in your amateur background.
Okay. All right. So now, do you have any of those lined up? Does Coach Andres have anything lined up for you as far as Golden Gloves or Nationals or anything like that?
We're looking at December. That's like the last national for the year. But this
Okay.
the for this year, our main goal is just getting experience with open class fighters that have gone to these tournaments, and then next year we want to take that big step and make it winning those tournaments.
Right. Right. One step at a time, and that's the way champions are made. Champions are made, one hand at a time, and that's one of the things that you have to, endure is where you came from to where you are now to where you're going. And it looks like you have a pretty solid, team around you now. You have a pretty solid, vision of where you're going and what you want to do. So let's talk about one of the fights that's just happened a month ago. Well, it's been about 3 weeks ago now, and there's a lot of controversy around it. And I want to get your opinion on what you think happened, and what do you feel about the whole controversial uh, discussion that's going on now. And I'm talking about the Ryan Garcia Devin Haney fight. Um, Ryan Garcia came in and he literally manhandled Devin. I mean, he beat him at will. He beat him to the punch. He did whatever he wanted to, but then it came out that he was doping, he was drugging, and it's even come out to the place to where now Ryan Garcia is saying that he was set up. How do you feel about the whole thing? Let's walk through the fight first, and tell me what you thought about the fight and how you felt Ryan looked compared to Danny, and what do you think about what's going on now behind the scenes?
Leading up to the fight, many people counted Ryan Garcia out because just the way his antics before the fight, people thought he was going crazy. Some say he was just doing it just to do it. But I had him winning. I didn't think, we seen Devin Haney rocked by Linares. Who else was it? Jojo Diaz rocked him. So, those are guys who were power punches. Now you're talking about a guy with speed and power together, and he kept hitting them with the same shot all night, a left hook.
Yes.
So, and then
Yeah.
when it comes to the PEDs, I mean, I don't think he would take them. He fought Tank without them, so why would he use them for Devin Haney?
Right, and that's what I was saying as well. But yet and still, his second test came back positive. Is what is being said now, and they are undercover blaming Floyd for it because Floyd, they say Floyd is the one that talked him into coming in 3 pounds overweight, and he knew that he couldn't lose those 3 pounds because of what he was doing supposedly behind the scenes, getting ready in camp for this fight.
Um, I I mean, I don't think it was. I don't. I think Floyd talked him into the 3 pound coming over 3 pounds, but I don't think he would have told him to use PEDs. Floyd's always
Yeah,
been a clean fighter, so I don't think he would tell another fighter to come in dirty.
right,
Especially with
right,
bad testing.
right. And the way I looked at it is that anytime you take a whooping like that, you're gonna go digging for anything to try to cover up your embarrassment. Uh, I thought it would be a better fight than what it was because I thought Haney had the um, ring knowledge. I thought he had his dad had the mindset to walk him through the fight, but it turned out that neither one of them could adjust to that left hook. You knew that basically that's the only punch that he has. Now, how would you have tackled that fight if you was in Devin Haney's corner and you seen the first time he got rocked in the first round? How would you, as boxer, fighter, Mikey, turning coach, would have walked him through that fight?
I think it was a simple adjustment. Devin Haney, he keeps that lead hand down, and then he keeps his right hand right on his chin. So you leave that whole cheek, part of your chin, your temple all open to be hit. All he
Right,
had to do was bring his right hand up to his cheek, and it would cover those spots. And bring his lead hand up too. You can't always fight with that lead hand down and expect to not get hit.
right. So you would have had him change his whole stance, in the middle of the fight. You would have had him do whatever he needed to quit taking those left hooks.
Yeah.
No.
And
Now,
rolling under the punches too. I mean, I know, some people are fast. You don't really see it coming, but you can anticipate a punch coming.
right. Right. You can slow things down. If you focus on the things you're supposed to be focusing on inside the ring and let all the outside noise go, you can pretty much see every punch that's coming to you. If you look at the shoulders, across the shoulders, nothing's going to move without those shoulders moving first. I've always preached that. I've always said that. A lot of people, they look at me as though, oh, he don't know what he's talking about. Trust me, um, I know a little bit. I just may look dumb. I'm really not that dumb. I really got a pretty good boxing IQ. People just don't take note to it. Don't want to listen to it. But other than that, the Usyk Fury fight. Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it. I was working, but I seen some clips. So
Okay. Okay. So that fight could have went either way. As you know the outcome. Usyk is now the unified uh, heavyweight champion out there right now. But it was one round that clarified the entire fight because during the entire fight, it was pretty much neck and neck. One would win a round, one would win a round. At the end of that, it would have been a draw if it wasn't for the ninth round when Usyk poured on and caught Fury with a right hook and staggered him. And if it wasn't for the bell at the end, I do believe he would have stopped Fury. And I hear that they're bringing it back in October. They're rewinding it in October, is what I say. So, what do you think about the different divisions now? If you were going to pick a division to be in and to promote, and I know you're in your weight class, what division do you think is the strongest division out there now in boxing?
I wouldn't say there's a strongest because they're all super close. Like that 140, 147, 154. A lot of those guys are real close to each other
Right,
where they can all fight at some weight, but it's a lot of ducking and not making matches. But I feel like this year we had a lot of people start making matches like the Ryan Garcia and Haney, Usyk and Furry.
Right. And they're going to have to eventually meet each other somewhere down the road. And now, what do you think about people trying to protect that O? I want to get your opinion on that. Being a fighter and a young fighter coming up, do you feel as though you're less of a contender if you have a blemish on your record going into the championship rounds? Or do you think that regardless of whether you have a blemish on your record or not, you still have an opportunity to come out and be a champion?
I think it depends what you're fighting for. If you're fighting for money, fame, legacy. But personally, I think I'd rather fight for legacy, and maybe I fight five of the top guys and I only beat two of them. But guess what? I fought five of those top guys. You know, you can't ever say I
Right,
ducked someone.
right. Now, even if I blame this on Floyd, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a Floyd Mayweather hater. Uh, I just don't think that he is everything that he thinks he is. He thinks he is the best ever. There's going to be different arguments about that because he went 50-0, which was a great accomplishment. He has not he has not lost since he lost in the Olympics. Let's put it that way, and that is a great accomplishment. But you have champions out there who I feel that are better than Floyd, that has a loss on their record, and yet they were still able to, make an impact on the sport. And I'm going back to the old days and the old school eras. I mean, we can go all the way back to Jack Johnson. We can go all the way back to Rocky Marciano. We can even come all the way up to uh, uh, Hector Macho Camacho. We can get Sweet Pea Whitaker. All those guys, they had losses on their record. Shane Mosley, uh, but yet and still, I think they were a better fighter than Floyd. So, do you feel your career would be over if you started out and you had a loss on your record? Do you feel as though you you couldn't continue, or that would hinder you from getting an opportunity at a title shot?
I think when you first start out, those first couple fights, yeah, it would hurt. But once you make it to, those top rankings, I think a loss doesn't hurt. Like, you seen Ryan Garcia, he lost to Tank, and guess what? He got another big fight with Haney.
Right,
And even if he would have lost to Haney, guess what? Someone else would have been calling him out. It's all about, I guess, how you present yourself as a business person. You're a cash cow.
right,
Ryan Garcia could lose his next five fights. Someone's still gonna call him out just because they know he's a good payday.
right. And that's just like I know you know the executioner Bernard Hopkins. He lost his first three fights, and look at him now. He's known and recognized as one of the pound for pound greatest that ever stepped in the ring. It's just one of those questions that I thought I would ask. Someone who's actually physically in the sport, on how they felt about it, and if you think that what Mayweather has done for the sport has helped it or hindered the sport, because you got a lot of people that are ducking and dodging one another just because they don't want to lose that goose egg. You know, I would rather. I'm like you. I would go for legacy because I would rather get beat by someone of a higher caliber than to tell myself that I'm giving this lesser opponent an opportunity and he stops me. Because and I know both, it only takes one punch and you can get caught at any moment. Now, if you're in there with somebody that's 3-22 and you're giving them an opportunity because, they would never get an opportunity to be on a stage like that because of their record, and they kick and they catch you and they stop you, What do you think that's going to do to your pedigree? What do you think that's going to do to your record?
It's definitely gonna put you down. You know, people are gonna be like, "Oh, you just lost to what they would call a bum," and it's
Right,
like if you just lost to him, what happens when you reach someone that is on a level that's supposed to beat you or at the same level as you?
right, right. And so, in speaking of that, because I know, and I'm going to turn the tables a little bit because I know your brother is about to fight again. His last outing, he lost. Me, myself, personally, I think they stopped it a little too immaturely. I don't think they gave him an opportunity to get up to defend himself, uh, being a level of competitor that he is. So let's talk about that. He's coming back. Let me get my records here to make sure I get them right. I don't want to say the wrong thing. So he's coming back June 7th. It's a WBO minimum weight. Is that a title shot?
No, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to say middleweight, but they
Okay.
misspelled it. I know it's on trying to think who's headlining. I don't know. The guy's name starts with a Z. He's headlining it, and
Okay.
then Davis like the third fight on the card.
Okay. All right. So where's that fight going to be held at?
It's gonna be in upstate New York. I think Buffalo, if I'm right.
Okay, so it's going to be fairly local. That if some of the local followers want to go to see, it's not they do have a chance to go up and check it out. So, do you know when those tickets are going to go on sale?
I think they should be on sale now, actually.
Okay, all right. So, how and he hasn't been vocal or visual, here lately because I know he's been focusing on getting ready for this fight. Um, I sent a message out along with the poster that they put up. That we're still behind him. We still rooting for him regardless. We know he's going to do great because he's doing great things at East Reading Boxing Club with you guys. He is passing down that pedigree to you all. So he's giving you all the inspiration to go forward and do what you do. So we have a minute left, and I want to give you the floor to close out the show to give a shout out to all of your fans and all of your viewers and let them know where they can see you tomorrow night, what time, and what you got in store going forward. Go ahead.
First I want to thank my coaches Andres, and Jake and Eric.
Your mic's not on.
Is it not? What? Hello, you can hear me?
Oh, go ahead. It's on. My mic came out. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah. I want to give a shout out to Andres, Jake, and Eric, for putting the hard work in with us and the team every day, day in and day out. Tomorrow you can catch us at 531 Canal Street, at the Reading Rumble. Fights start at 3. You know, come there and support the team and watch everyone do their thing tomorrow.
All right. Well, I wish I could be there. I do have to work. I have spoke to your mom that are going to get pictures because I will do an article on it. Hopefully, I can get some good clips and things of your match. So this is a pre-fight interview. I do want to come back and do a post-fight interview with you so we can talk about the fight and explain and let us know what experience you got from the fight. Before I go, though, I'm going to have to, because I have a new sponsor, I'm going to have to give a shout out to Doobie Energy Drink. It is a pre workout mix that you use. They have come on board with me to co-partner and sponsor RWB Sports. So I want to give them a shout out. I will be getting several of these products in that I will be getting out. Stay tuned. Also, get ready for the store to launch on the website. I have a lot of things coming in, Michael, to the store that I will be bringing some things over to the gym for you guys. Uh, just because I still have to give my respect and give my honors to Coach Andreas, because he was the first one to open the doors to me coming into Reading, coming from the South. So I just have to continue to keep uh, that to the forefront to let him know I appreciate everything he's done. I appreciate everything that you all have done over there at East Reading and opening up to me. And I want to thank you once again for doing this interview with me on such a short notice. But I couldn't let it go and not have this opportunity to interview you, knowing that you're going to be right here in Reading, and I'm not going to get to see you. So, with that said, I want to wish you the best of luck tomorrow. I know you don't need luck because you're going to get out there and do what you do best. You're going to get out there and have fun doing what you do best. But please keep me updated. Let me know. And I look forward to coming back after the fight and interviewing you again. So, Michael, you go out there and come back with that dub, and we'll talk about it. Hopefully, like I said, I can get clips and we can walk through it. But you have fun. Tell the rest of the guys that I'll be thinking about them and do what they do best. And let's put East Reading boxing on the map, because they're doing great things over there, doing a lot of good things in the community. And this is just one more to add to it. It's the Reading Rumble, May 25th. That's tomorrow. Starts at, what did you say, they get there about 6 o'clock?
No, the fights start at 3.
No, at 3 o'clock. Don't get there at 6. Don't listen to me because you're gonna miss them all. So get there at 3 o'clock. Don't forget, our guy, Check for Me, is going to be doing the ring announcing. So he will be there tomorrow as well, doing the ring announcing, volunteering his time. But that's all we have. This is Reginald Peoples with RWB Sports, sitting down with my guy, the headliner of the Reading Rumble, Michael Lusane, as he gets ready for competition tomorrow evening outside of East Reading Boxing Club. We wish him the best. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you in the turn. Thank you, Mikey. Hey, we're gonna have to get back to Shady Maple.
Yeah. I need a trip, especially after this weight cut.
Yeah, after this weight cut, we're gonna have to get back to Shady Maple. I go on my 8 coming up here in a week, so maybe sometime in between there we can get together and we can go to Shady Maple.
Yeah, I'm working third shift right now, so my schedule's a little up in the air.
Oh, come on! What was that? I remember you telling me you don't need to work. I
Listen,
think that's I think that's what you don't need to work. What are you working for?
hey, gotta pay bills, man.
Oh man, don't that suck?
Yeah, I think about it every time I go to work.
All right, Mikey. Much love, man. Hey, good luck tomorrow. I'll be reaching out to you.
Thank you for having me.
Always, brother. Always.
Have a good night.
You too.